Hey, welcome to the sixth video in my game development update series. In this video, we're going to be covering the kind of the changes that I've made to the inventory system, as well as the just some basic overview of how the UI is currently set up, since that's a lot of the changes that have happened with the inventory system. And then we'll also be covering the world loot system, since that ties very closely with the inventory system as well. So, just to kind of give a brief update on the UI. Um, you'll see here a lot of different elements, and all of these elements kind of show different pieces of information. With all of these game panels, they are obviously, as you can see, you can expand and collapse them. You also have the ability to resize them by clicking the lower right-hand corner and dragging, and then you also have the ability to move them. You can move game panels by clicking in the header. Other elements like this game time widget can be dragged just by clicking anywhere, essentially. So those are the kind of the core high-level things that have changed in the context of the UI system. So let's jump into the inventory system. So now the inventory system isn't drastically different as far as the functionality that it has, but the UI has changed a little bit. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the console log and spawn some items. It is also another thing to note is that the game no longer registers any keyboard events um, when the console menu is opened. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in a couple items here. Go ahead and close that. And so now we have our inventory system. And now this is more of a list form instead of the grid that it used to be. And you can kind of see we still have the same basic information. We have the icon name, the type, and the total weight. And when we hover over the elements, we also have the tooltip that has basically the same information right now, as well as the calculation that does to get the total weight that's being shown. So something new that we have is we have this bar at the top, which shows the inventory sources. And for the most part, it's only going to probably be showing two outside of special circumstances. The first element is the user's inventory, so it's whatever is on the user itself. And then the second item is is basically any items that are within reach of the user. Now, if I click here, you see there's nothing there. And basically, this is determined by the player's position and any item that's in the world loot system that's within reach, which currently is set to one tile. So the world loot system is just a system that basically tracks the entire world, the x by x and y coordinates, and then in each one of those coordinates, it can have one or multiple items stored in it. And those are kind of represented by an icon that you kind of see around here. Right now, the world loot system is just being populated with random items, basically scrap metal and stone, on about 30% of the tiles. So if I were to go ahead and move around and move over here, you can kind of see we have 5 different items around me. Some are on walls. Um, and we have the scrap metal and the stone. So this functions the exact same way as the other list. But what you can also do with this list is you can click and drag items. And what I can do is I can drop it onto um, one of the sources in this bar, and it's going to transfer the inventory from the world loot to my inventory. You can kind of see those items have now disappeared. And you can do the exact same thing in the opposite direction. I can take items from myself and drop them onto the second one, and then they get placed into the world. And the way they get placed is they get placed on the tile the user is currently residing on. So if I were to move, you can kind of see we have that item. Now, because you can have multiple items in one tile, as you can see, we have these guys right here. But this is the only tile that has items on it that are within range. It's only going to show um, one particular icon for on the tile, because showing multiple icons would kind of make that a bit harder to digest, at least. Right now, I think it's either the first or last. I can't quite remember, but it is only going to show one. So yeah, those are the basic changes to the inventory system as well as the new world loot system. Um, Again, you can follow me on Twitter if you want slightly more frequent updates, and thanks for watching.